G'day and welcome to Ozone number 2. In that first video of Ozone number 1, I mentioned that I'd like to direct this series of videos to topics that I had trouble myself finding on the internet and on YouTube. One of the areas that I've had real trouble finding material on is layout lighting. Now, I'm no expert in lighting, but I do have plenty of light over my layouts, and I'm about to do some upgrades and some installations of some new lighting over the layout, which I hope will be its final form. Now that I've got the peninsula in of the Hunter River siding, it needs lighting, but the other sections that are in the centre of the room also need lighting. What you can see at the moment is the corner join of one of the lighting stands that sits over Morpeth. Originally, these top pieces, this is the leg running down to a pocket that sits in the back of the layout, but this part here is the bit that carries the lights. Originally, I had these cross pieces cut off about there, and they folded. Now, as Morpeth, the section of the layout that is actually Morpeth is no longer removable and displayable as an exhibition layout. This system is redundant. I was going to put the lights at this end, where they originally were, hanging out over the layout. They sit out on the end of the point there. And I was going to string another set of lights from this end using the original upright legs. I'd cut some more legs. But as this system is no longer needed, and it no longer functions because this would get in the way of the fold. The folding mechanism works something like that. And if you can imagine that would spin right round. As it no longer works, I figured that I'd string some lights at this end. These have sat for about 3 months in this form, pulled to pieces. Here's another one at the other side that I've pulled to pieces. And the reason they have sat unfinished is because I couldn't convince myself that this would support lights on both ends. But I'm going to pull all these apart, cut these back, and make them make a little gusset of wood to sit in the corner here, which will hold the cross beam up. Okay, that's the 6 gussets made from 4mm plywood I need for this particular part of the project. I'm making 2 batches of 6 stands for these lights. The first 6 are recycled from the earlier versions, and will now, I've used parts from those, and I'm using some new sections cut up. These hooks here that you may be able to see are intended to take a rod that slides this way and holds a curtain that masks part of the layout from behind. So the 4 parts for the stand are 2 pieces of cube block 25mm cube block aluminium, which sit as a butt joint similar to that, and on each side will be a piece of plywood, 4mm plywood, 140mm along the back edge. That's around about 5 inches. This forms, I feel, will be enough to hold the light stands, which sit here. They run on a tray, but if I find that I'm worried about them not being big enough, I'm going to bump these up to a slightly bigger size to give a little bit more support. But up till this stage, I'm satisfied that this will be enough. Put a washer either side to distribute the weight a little bit on both sides. Tighten that up. And what I'll do next is move this clamp a little bit, drill another bolt through, and then I'll install this piece across the top. I'm sitting in the layout room at the back of the Hunter River siding. The white expansion you can see in the background here is the back of the backdrop, so the rear side of it. These light stands are intended to go this side and hang over the top of the layout. I've been working for a couple of days on assembling those. These particular light stands, there's 3 of them, are going to be on the layout, spread down, as you can see there. I've got 3 of them, one there, and I'm not sure you can see it, one further down. The spacings are based on the lights that are going up there. These are LED strip lights. They're just over 1.1 metres long, 1.14, and together the 3 of them will basically sit adjacent to each other using a little connector between the 3 lights. There'll be one lead leading from the other end down where it can be plugged in. I'm going to set the stands about 200mm in from the end, one in the centre, and about 200mm in from the other end. The length of the layout here, this part of the layout from where my hand is, down to where you can see the end of the white section down there, is exactly the same length as the lights, which isn't happenstance. I measured and made the layout to be about as long as the lighting. The lights will run in, I suppose, lengthways from this area here. You'll see what I'm talking about in a moment when I put the batten up. There'll be a batten of pine sitting at the end here. But as you can see from this, the light stands are ready and I'm ready to install them. These are the 3 lights I'm going to install above this section of the layout. They're all micro strip lights, LEDs with colour selection. That's the Kelvin colour. You can select the colour with a little switch down here, and you can select the temperature of the colour, 3000, 4000 or 5500K. 5500K, I'm told, is a very good representation of daylight. And the lights themselves, you may be able to just see the model numbers there. The SL9706, I got them at $32 a piece, free postage. That's Australian dollars, of course. Don't pay a cent more. There really is no comparison to having lights directly over a piece of layout and not. Home layout, exhibition layout, it doesn't matter as far as I'm concerned. You need lighting over the layout. This is a simple, fairly quick method of hanging lights. As you can see from that, these are really what they call under-cabinet LED lights are readily available. They're safe to install yourself, as you have seen. They just clip into a couple of small plastic clips. There are two different ways of doing it. You can do it straight down as I've got them, or you can turn them on the side. There's another set of clips you can use instead of these ones. Now this lighting installation is essentially finished, except for one more element, which you can possibly see up the end of the lighting strip there. Along the front, screwed into that pine batten, is going to be a, maybe I'll turn this off, it'll be a bit easier to see. Screwed into this pine batten will be a strip of essentially 3mm MDF. What I've got here is a sample piece. It's about 6 inches wide. It's actually just a scrap that was sitting in the workshop. I may narrow this a little bit, but it will be painted either the same colour as the front of the fascia, which is a sort of a sandy yellow colour, or it'll be painted the same blue. Relatively cheap. I would estimate they're about $10 a piece. I've made 12 for this layout. 6 of those were recycled ones from the previous incarnation of Morpeth, and these 6, 3 on this part of the layout and 3 over the storage yard, are brand new materials. The only bit left to do now is install the front proscenium arch section, which is this part here. Whether I eventually block this off by putting some sort of sheet material behind here is really a matter for the future. Okay, that concludes this episode of Ozone. Thanks for watching, and I hope you got something useful out of it. Please, I've managed to turn the comments on to my YouTube channel. Took a little bit of finessing, but there should be a space for comments. So please, feel free to leave a comment at the bottom. Only positive ones, of course. Also, if you have a question or you'd like some topic covered, by all means make a suggestion. I make no guarantees that I will follow those requests, but I'll certainly listen to them and read them with interest. Finally, could you please like the video and subscribe if you feel inclined. It helps to get the channel seen by other modelers. There will be no schedule for these videos. I'll be posting them when I get a chance to make them, and but I hope to get one out perhaps every 2 or 3 weeks. It's been about that length of time since #1. So thanks for watching again, and bye for now.